Hello and welcome to this video podcast of photosynthesis. And alright, so let's get started with what does photosynthesis literally mean? Well, we have to first start with the prefix photo, meaning light. So photo is light. And synthesis is to make more complicated or make bigger. So this literally translates to make a molecule from the energy from light. So to make food, which we know is glucose now, and with the energy from light is the definition of photosynthesis. Okay, so what does the formula of photosynthesis look like? Well, we have to start with two inorganic molecules, one of them being CO2, and the other one is water, H2O. And I have this formula here with this arrow. We're going to look right there. We're going to put sunlight over the arrow. So sunlight and chlorophyll being absorbing that green pigment that absorbs the energy. And then we're going to have glucose, and here's our glucose. Oops, we're going to write it out actually as the formula. Stay with that formula. C6H12O6. And then we also need leftover, which is oxygen. Okay, oxygen being O2. Okay, and then there's also some water left over too. Okay, so we can write that in there, plus H2O. So there's some water left over. And we need to balance this formula out. So basically there's 6 molecules of CO2, 12 molecules of water, 1 molecule of glucose, 6 molecules of O2, and we still have 6 molecules of H2O. Okay, so here's our formula for photosynthesis, a little bit cleaned up, and we've got to put our names in for our molecules here. Okay, so there's our formula. Carbon dioxide plus water with the energy from light and absorbed by chlorophyll gives us glucose, oxygen, and water. And there's some other things we should know about this as we're here, in that carbon dioxide and water are what's considered inorganic. Okay, so inorganic molecules, remember, do not have both carbon and hydrogen. They can have either one, but not both. So carbon dioxide is inorganic, so is water. If you look at the right-hand side, glucose, C6H12O6, these two elements here make glucose organic. So glucose is organic. So what's the significance of this is photosynthesis will take two inorganic molecules, carbon dioxide and water, and combine them together to make our organic glucose, organic food. With light, sunlight actually being the source of most of the energy that is required to do this reaction of taking these two inorganic molecules and combining them to organic. What we should also remember is that the two molecules on the left are needed for photosynthesis. So we call these things necessary reactants or reactants. And what about the products on the right-hand side? And the products on the molecules on the right-hand side of the formula or what are the products. And the main product that is significant certainly is glucose. Okay, glucose is our molecule that we consider our organic food, and also oxygen is produced as well. And when later on we get into the environment and ecology, we talk about this balance of CO2 and oxygen in the atmosphere, and certainly photosynthesis plays a huge role in that balance of our atmosphere. Okay, and we have here a structure of a leaf, and you can definitely see this is a cross-sectional leaf. So basically, if you took a leaf and cut it, and then looked down the middle, and you saw these different layers under the microscope, this is what a cross-sectional leaf would look like. And so what do we have here? We have a cuticle, which is on top. The function of the cuticle is to waterproof that top layer. You remember, the top layer gets hit by a lot of sunlight, and the leaf would literally dehydrate or evaporate. All the water would be lost through the top layer if it wasn't for that thick, waxy layer. If you're looking at a leaf, you can tell the top layer is shiny. Well, that's the wax. That's the waxy layer. Underneath that, the cuticle, we have the epidermis. And the epidermis, both of them are protective layers, thick, tough cells, but no photosynthesis. Photosynthesis doesn't occur until you get to the palisade layer. Okay, palisade. Okay, these long cells. And what you'll notice is that there are a lot, when we look in this in the lab, you're going to see a lot of chloroplasts. Chloroplasts, you remember, are the organelles where photosynthesis takes place. So that's definitely one layer where we see a lot of photosynthesis take place. Another layer is spongy layer. So the spongy layer also has chloroplasts, but not as many as the palisades. But we do have in that spongy layer a lot of air spaces, or air gaps. Certainly that allows carbon dioxide to flow into the leaf. And what we can see here, these air spaces here. Let's draw an arrow over to them. And this little space that air can go up and down, or back and forth exchange. We call these air spaces stomates. So the air spaces on the lower epidermis is the stomates. Oh, and also we do need to label the lower epidermis. So that's this on epidermis. Let's do that now. And the stomates, like I said, is an air space or an opening. Stomates allows that carbon dioxide to get up into these air spaces here. Carbon dioxide and oxygen also to flow out of the leaf. So the exchange of gases is where the stomates happen. And then, of course, we have what are called these guard cells. And guard cells we're going to take a look at further. But guard cells basically can open and close the stomates. And when they close the stomates, they prevent the loss of water from the plant. And the plant cannot lose too much water. It will die. So what it does is it has these guard cells that close up the stomates. The only problem with that is when it closes up the stomates, then it doesn't get carbon dioxide in for photosynthesis. So it's a catch-22 for the plant. So just to review, like we said, we have a cuticle, which is that waxy layer, preventing water loss from the top layer. Epidermis, all the epidermises, they protect the inner layers of the plant. Then we have the photosynthetic layers, the palisade layer and the spongy layer. There's what's called mesophils, or middle, and that's where photosynthesis takes place in palisade and spongy. We also talked about most of the more of photosynthesis taking place in the palisade layer, There's more chloroplasts, also getting more direct sunlight. Then we mentioned about the stomates being the openings in the underside of the leaf mostly, and that's where the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen take place. And then, of course, the guard cells that can close up the stomates if it's in times of drought to prevent the loss of water. Okay, our last topic of this lesson is transpiration. And transpiration is the loss of water from the leaves of the plant. If you can imagine the sunlight, heating up, evaporating water, but if it evaporated directly from the leaf, and the leaves are losing water in the form of water vapor, that is transpiration. Now, the important thing is that water then is pulled up through the roots, up through the stem, through the veins, and yes, it does evaporate off of the leaves. The leaves, I should say. But transpiration, loss of water from the plant. Yes, the plant needs to minimize this in times of drought. Again, remember, it's the guard cells that limit this water loss from the plant. So that's what we need to know for right now for the leaf and the structure of the plant for now and for photosynthesis. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the lesson and hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you in class. Okay, bye.